Hello, am I audible? Naila, Mohit, please let me know if I'm audible or not.
So, welcome Karthik for this session. Let's begin it. And Karthik, I would invite you to unmute yourself. For this session, I'm beginning with presenting the screen.
Yep. Are you able to hear me? Hello, Naila? Yep. Okay. I see Nihal confirmed that I'm audible. So let me. Okay. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Yep. You're able to see my screen, right? Naila or Mohit, if someone can respond, that would be a great help for me. Okay. I'll start with it. Hope you're able to see my screen. So first of all, I would like to thank Uttar Pradesh BI Club for inviting me as a speaker and giving me an opportunity over here. So today I'll be speaking about quantum AI in pharma, accelerating precision drug discovery with next gen tech. So first of all, I would like to introduce myself. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm 𝐏𝐡𝐚𝐬𝐭-𝐳. I completed my master's degree at Long Island University and I'm currently working as senior engineer in Abercrombie and Fitch Co. I come to this field from a technology background, building AI-driven supply chain systems, predictive dashboards, scalable web and API solutions, and automation platforms too. Across these projects, the theme has been the same: take complexity and design solutions that are both scalable and impactful. Today, we'll explore how quantum computing and AI together are transforming the future of the medicine. Let me frame the problem first. So, the way we discover drugs today has hardly changed in decades. It's still slow, expensive, and often inefficient too. From the first idea in a lab to the pill reaching patient can take over more than 15 years and cost billions. Even then, most compounds fail. Quantum computing here gives us a chance to rethink this pipeline entirely, not to speed up marginally, but to reimagine the discovery process at its core. So in this presentation, I'll do exactly that, take something complex, the convergence of quantum computing and drug discovery, and simplify it into a roadmap of why it matters, where it is now, and where it is headed. Okay, coming to the agenda. In this session, I'll guide you through four major themes that capture both science and strategy behind quantum AI and drug discovery. First, we'll look at the quantum advantage in drug discovery. Here, I'll break down the fundamental principles of quantum computing, concepts like superposition and entanglement, and explain how they enable accurate molecular simulations in ways classical computing cannot. Second, we'll move into industry use cases. We'll move into industry use cases and success stories. I'll discuss the real world algorithms such as variational quantum eigensolver VQE and quantum approximate optimization algorithm QAOA, showing how they are able how they are being applied to model drug target interactions. We'll also review the early breakthroughs where quantum has already improved prediction accuracy and reduced screening costs. Third, we'll examine the implementation challenges. Here, I'll highlight both the technical barriers, such as error correction and scalability, and the organizational hurdles such as talent acquisition and return of investment justification, just an ROI. Understanding these challenges is essential to separating hype from the reality. Finally, we'll conclude with the strategic roadmap and future outlook. This includes how industry partnerships are accelerating adoption and how the integration of AI and the quantum computing is paving the way for personalized medicine and tailored therapies. We will explore the long term vision medicine that is faster, more precise, and optimized for the individual patient, like how we can personalize the things for an individual patient. Is there any possibility for that or not? We'll just go through that. And coming to the next one, the pharmaceutical innovation challenge. The pharmaceutical innovation pipeline is one of the most complex, expensive, and also risk heavy process in the science today. Consider the numbers. On an average, it takes 15 years to bring a single drug from initial discovery to regulatory approval. The cost per approved drug is staggering, like around 2.8 billion. That's an average cost according to the industry studies. And despite this enormous investment of time and resources, like just fewer than 14% of drug candidates that enter phase 1 trials ever make it to the approval. That means like 9 out of 10 easily fail along the way from the trial to the approval. So these inefficiencies create ripple effects across the entire health system. Patients face delayed access to potential life saving therapies, you know that, and insurers and governments shoulder rising costs. Pharmaceutical companies become increasingly risk averse, favoring incremental improvements to existing drugs instead of bold new renovations or innovations. So, and perhaps most concerning, rare diseases and smaller point populations are often neglected because the economics simply don't work under the current model at all. So I feel like this is why drug discovery pipeline is often referred to as a valley of death, a place where promising compounds are tested, obviously delayed, and too often abandoned before they can deliver real world impact. So as you know, like be there will be more and more research done the drug which we are using today. But yeah, our challenge is to use quantum AI and try to reduce the time and everything. So the challenge here is not just scientific as well, but it is also economic and ethical. How can we reduce the timelines? How can we cut the costs? How can we explore therapies to undeserved populations? So this is the backdrop against which quantum computing and artificial intelligence enter the stage. They don't just promise the incremental efficiency of the drug, they offer a chance to reimagine the pipeline itself, to predict molecular behavior earlier, reduce some cost failures, and ultimately bring therapies to patients faster and more affordable way. So, coming to the quantum principles, right? The quantum computing principles. So, to understand why quantum computing is such a game changer here for drug discovery, we need to briefly revisit the principles that make it unique. The first is a superposition. In classical computing, a bit is either 0 or a 1. A qubit, by contrast, can exist in a combination of both at once. So this means that a quantum computer can evaluate multiple molecular states simultaneously instead of testing one configuration after another. For drug discovery, this is transformative. Imagine how to search through billions of possible molecular conformations. A classical machine does it step by step, while a quantum machine can explore them all in parallel. That is what the superposition is. And the second principle is entanglement. When two qubits become entangled, the state of one instantly influences the state of other, no matter the distance or anything. In molecular simulation, this allows us to model the complex electron correlations that determine whether a drug binds to its target or not. Complex approximations often simplify, or rather oversimplify, these interactions. Quantum computing can capture them more faithfully, offering precision that aligns directly with the physical reality of molecules. Finally, we should mention the quantum parallelism, the quantum algorithm, quantum parallelism, the ability of quantum processor to evaluate many possibilities at once. For pharmaceutical applications, this means vastly more efficient screening of molecular candidates. with higher efficiency in predicting their properties. Taken together, these principles explain why quantum computing is not just a faster computer, it is a fundamentally a different algorithm. Molecules themselves obey the laws of quantum mechanics, so by simulating them with quantum systems, we are finally speaking the same language as nature. That is why technology holds such extraordinary promise for drug discovery. And coming to the quantum algorithms, right? VQE and QAOE. We have discussed the principles that make quantum powerful, superposition, and the entanglement. But principles alone don't create the value. What truly matters are the algorithms, and they harness those principles for practical use in pharmaceuticals. Two of the most important are the variational quantum eigensolver, or what we call VQE, and the quantum approximate optimization algorithm, QAOA. Let's start with VQE. So the variational quantum eigensolver, it's a hybrid algorithm. It combines the quantum and the classical computing, using each where it is strongest. The quantum processor simulates the quantum state of a molecule, where the classical processor optimizes the parameters of that state. So the goal is to calculate the ground state energy of the molecule, essentially its most stable configuration. But why does that matter? Like, why do we need to calculate the ground state energy? Because the ground state energy determines the molecular stability and reactivity. If you know the stability of a compound, what we are experimenting, what we are using for a drug, you can decide very early whether it is worth pursuing as a drug candidate or not. So VQE has already demonstrated chemical accuracy for small molecules, and its scalability is improving as hardware evolves. And you know how the hardware is evolving nowadays. And now coming to QAOA, sorry, the quantum approximate optimization algorithm. This algorithm is designed to tackle optimization problems, and drug discovery is full of them. For example, right, so when a drug molecule binds to a protein, there are billions of possible conformations it could take. The challenge is to find which configuration has the lowest energy. The one where the binding is strongest is the most effective. QAOA is uniquely suited for this because it explores the vast solution spaces much more efficiently than the classical approaches. Together, if we answer two fundamental questions like VQE and QAOA, VQE tests if this molecule is viable, and QAOA tests like how does it best fit with its target. So that's what these two makes the best algorithms. And what makes them so powerful is that they don't approximate reality, they mirror the quantum behavior of molecules themselves. That fidelity is why these algorithms are seen the backbone of quantum chemistry applications. So, like in practice, pharmaceutical companies are already experimenting with hybrid versions of these algorithms in their pipelines. While today's devices can't yet handle full scale drug candidates, every iteration is bringing us closer. And as a qubit count increase, VQE and QAOA will scale from small molecule to the complex biologics, and that dominate the modern drug discovery. So, yeah, coming to the evidences of like proven quantum advantages in the molecular simulation, let me walk through the trajectory. In 2019, a landmark Nature Physics study demonstrated that, like, sorry, in 2019, a landmark Nature Physics study demonstrated that variational quantum eigensolver VQE could achieve chemical accuracy for hydrogen molecules. This was a small system, but it proved quantum hardware could match or outperform classical computation in simulating molecular energy states. By 2021, physical review study showed that quantum algorithms could successfully model protein ligand interactions for small peptides, and this was critical because binding interactions are the heart of the drug discovery. So when the molecules don't bind, the drug can't be made. So as simple as that. So in 2022, we saw the first commercial quantum enhanced virtual screening platform applied to COVID-19. The system identified novel binding candidates for SARS-CoV-2 protease inhibitors. This was one of the first times quantum computing directly contributed to an urgent real world health challenge. You know how we suffered during COVID and how the things were there. And in 2023, hybrid quantum classic models achieved 80%, 87, almost 87% accuracy in predicting drug efficiency for cancer therapies while reducing screening costs by 22%. These are tangible numbers, not distant promises, but measurable improvements in cost and also accuracy. The message here is very clear. Every year we are moving from toy problems towards pharmaceutically relevant applications, and quantum simulations are consistently demonstrating superior accuracy in predicting molecular properties that are essential for drug discovery. This progression tells us that quantum is not just keeping pace with the classical method, it is already beginning to surpass them in areas where accuracy matters most. Yep. Coming to the industry momentum, let's speak about the let's speak about the strategic partnership. What is happening? One of the strongest indicator that quantum is more than academic research is the wave of strategic partnership emerging between pharmaceutical giants and technology leaders. Let's take a few examples. IBM has been a pioneer with its QSQIT platform, as you might be aware of that. They have formal collaborations with Pfizer and Merck, focusing on quantum chemistry tools that can be applied directly to the molecular modeling. And Google's Quantum AI has partnered with leading pharmaceutical firms to explore quantum for molecular simulation for drug candidate screening as well. Like, there was so many startups forming alliances with biotech firms. These collaborations are maybe agile, often tackling very specific problems like protein folding prediction, docking simulations, or optimization of trial design. What's important is that these partnerships are structured across entire value chain. In research collaboration, companies are testing new algorithms on real biological problems. In technology development, firms are co-creating chemistry specific toolkits and APIs as well. In clinical applications, early proof of concept trials are already leveraging the hybrid models for patient specific predictions, which I mentioned, the personalization predictions. And in commercial deployment, we are beginning to see first quantum enhanced platforms marketed to pharma companies. So the big picture is clear. The pharmaceutical industry recognizes that no one can do this alone. Pharma provides the biological and chemical expertise. Tech firms provide the quantum and the AI capabilities, and partnerships obviously brings both of the both of the industries together. And like, early adopters are not waiting for fault tolerant machines. They are experimenting today, building literacy and setting standards. By the time scalable quantum hardware arrives, these companies will already be years ahead with pipelines, partnerships, workflows, and optimized for quantum advantage. This is why industry momentum matters. It transforms quantum computing from a future possibility into a present day strategic race. So let's move on to the projected impact on drug discovery. When we look at the potential of quantum computing in drug discovery, the numbers tell a compelling story. Obviously, analysis published in Nature reviews drug discoveries suggests that the integration of quantum computing could deliver a 15 to 30% reduction in overall R&D cost. Imagine reducing 15 to 30% in 2.8 billion, because average cost of a drug takes almost 2.8 billion to come into a market. So in an industry where bringing a single drug to market costs 3 billions, this translates to almost billions in savings per one successful therapy. The timeline impact is equally significant as well. Quantum enhanced methods are projected to reduce early stage discovery cycles by up to 40%. Instead of waiting for a decade or more to move from concept to clinical trials, company could achieve that in just a few years. This acceleration not only saves money but also means patients gain access to life-saving therapies much sooner. So perhaps most exciting is the potential improvement in success rates by improving prediction accuracy in target identification and lead optimization. The the quantum methods could increase candidate success rate by 25%. This means fewer costly late stage failures, fewer abundant compounds, and more viable drugs reaching the market. And it's important to emphasize that the greatest gains come not from doing everything faster, but from doing it smarter. We all know that. So, by identifying failures earlier, resources are no longer wasted on compounds destined to fail. Instead, investment flows into the most promising candidates from the very start. So, if we cut down at the very start, we could save billions. So, the broader implication is profound, like more efficient pipelines, lower development costs, faster timelines, and ultimately a larger portfolio of therapies, including for diseases that today are considered too risky and costly to pursue. In short, like the projected impact is not just saving money for pharmaceutical companies, it is about democratizing access, accelerating innovation, and delivering hope to patients far sooner than current system allows. Yep. So let's move on to the quantum enhanced personalized medicine. So perhaps the most transformative opportunity for all lies is in the like, personalized medicine. For decades, drug development has been built around averages. A treatment is tested on large populations and results are generalized. But we know from experience that two patients with same diagnosis can respond very differently to the same therapy, that we are all aware of, and we have seen so many cases like that. One may recover quickly, another may be little benefit, and the third may suffer severe side effects. The problem is that today's computational methods cannot fully account for the complexity of genetics, metabolism, and environment. The data sets are simply too large and the interactions too complex for classical computers to handle. This is where the quantum AI becomes a game changer. By combining the pattern recognition, power of artificial intelligence with the simulation of accuracy of quantum computing, we can begin to analyze genomic data at a scale and depth never before possible. So, quantum algorithms are capable of shifting through vast genomic datasets to identify subtle nonlinear patterns in how in how these different genetic profiles respond to drugs. Studies have already demonstrated that uh, hybrid quantum classical models achieve 3.5 times higher accuracy in predicting individual drug responses compared to a traditional methods. The traditional computer, it's a linear model, and like see it goes on seriously, whereas serious in a serious manner. Whereas if you take the quantum computing, everything it does it in parallel, so that we save a lot of time out there. The implications are profound, like genomic data analysis at quantum scale means we can map patient variability in ways classical systems miss. And pharma, pharmacogenomic modeling uses quantum AI, obviously, and can forecast how a specific patient will metabolize or respond to a therapy. And this enables the tailored treatment protocols designed not for average patient but for the individual, maximizing efficiency while minimizing side effects. Imagine what this means in practice. A cancer therapy could make take almost years to refine for a broad population with mixed outcomes, but in a quantum enhanced feature, the same therapy would be personalized to a patient's genome in a near real time, ensuring the treatment is both more effective and also the safer. This shift is like not just science fiction, it is already beginning to take shape. Like quantum assistant pharmacogenomics could redefine how we think about clinical trials, moving away from population averages and toward stratified or even individualized trial designs. Ultimately, this is about moving from a world of one size fits all medicine. Like right now, if you have anything, one medicine, we go for it, to a world of precision healthcare. And when we look back at decades from now, I believe this will be most profound legacy of quantum AI in pharmaceuticals. Not just faster pipelines, but therapies designed specifically for each one of us, for you or for any one of us. That is what the personalized medicine is for. And let's move on to the quantum hardware roadmap. When we talk about the potential quantum computing in drug discovery, the natural questions: when will the hardware actually be ready to deliver on this promise, this number of saving this number of lives or money or anything? So we are currently in that, in what researchers called a NISQ era, the noisy intermediate scale quantum era. Today's systems have tens of qubits, but they are noisy, error prone, and best suited for proof of concept studies, POCs. Despite their limitations, they have already demonstrated the chemical accuracy for small molecules, protein ligand interactions, and even COVID-19 inhibitor screening. Looking ahead, the trajectory is very clear. Within the next 3 to 5 years, we expect to see systems with over 100 stable high fidelity qubits. This holding is important because it brings pharmaceutically relevant molecules into space, into scope. Also the meaning, like mid-sized proteins, realistic docking simulation, and genomic pattern modeling can be attempted with genuine advantage. Beyond that, if you look at the long-term vision, it's fault-tolerant quantum computing. Industry roadmaps suggest that within 5 to 10 years, we may achieve thousands of logical qubits capable of running large-scale, error-corrected simulations. At this stage, we will move from hybrid approaches where quantum handles only part of the task to fully quantum-driven molecular discovery. The key takeaway for pharmaceutical leaders is this: like the hardware timeline is not decades away, it is measured in years. And the companies that begin preparing their pipelines today, building partnerships as well, training the talent, and experimenting with hybrid workflows will be ready, like it would be ready to capitalize on each hardware milestone as it arrives. Like quantum is like I feel quantum is not something we should wait and watch. By the time the systems are mature, the competitive advantage will already belong to those who acted early. Coming to the implementation challenges. So, of course, like every transformative technology comes with its own set of challenges, and quantum computing in drug discovery is no exception at all. So these challenges are both technical and also organizational. On the technical side, right, the three major barriers stand out: the error correction requirements and the noise. Today's quantum devices are fragile and highly sensitive to noise. Running long or complex simulations without introducing errors is still difficult, and robust error correction remains a key research area. Scaling beyond toy problems. While algorithms like VQE and QAOE have already shown impressive results, most demonstrations have been limited to small molecules or simplified models. Scaling these to pharmaceutically relevant compounds will require more qubits and more efficient algorithms as well. So, integrations with the existing pipelines. So, pharmaceutical workflows today depend on established computational chemistry tools, machine learning platforms, and laboratory process. Integrating quantum modules seamlessly into this ecosystem is a non-trivial engineering task. On the organizational side, the barriers are equally significant. The talent acquisition, obviously. The number of professionals with expertise in quantum information science and computational chemistry is limited, and competition for talent is intense. And coming to the cultural resistance, right, so many organizations are cautious without, like uh, they're more cautious about investing in technologies that feel unfamiliar or unproven. Moving beyond wait and see attitude brings like a leadership vision. Like without any proven solution, most of the companies, except like the companies like IBM or Google Quantum AI, other than these big companies, they other small companies don't dare to invest in the latest technologies. They want a proven solution as well. So, and coming to the obviously the coming to the organization, all they care is the return of investment. Early stage quantum projects often deliver insights rather than immediate returns. Convincing boards or even the stakeholders to invest in something still emerging can be difficult without clear measurable milestones. Together, like these challenges explain why quantum computing in drug discovery is not yet mainstream, but they also underscore why strategic preparation now is so critical. The companies that learn to navigate these hurdles by experimenting early, forming partnerships, and developing in house literacy will be the ones best positioned when the hardware matures and the technology becomes indispensable. So, as you know, like all of us, everyone, we're speaking about AI right now. So, before a couple of years back, or 3 years, 4 years back, there was nothing about the AI. So that's how the things change, and same we'll see for the quantum computing as well. So so coming to the strategic recommendations for pharmaceutical leaders, right? Like to truly capture the potential of quantum computing in drug discovery, pharmaceutical leaders need more and more than awareness. They need a strategic adoption plan, how to adopt all this. Let me outline the key recommendation. So usually conduct a quantum readiness assessment. Companies should begin with a baseline analysis. Where can quantum add value in the pipeline? Which teams are equipped for experimentation? And where are the gaps in the skills and also the infrastructure? And identify high value use cases. Not every problem needs quantum, obviously. The most immediate value lies in molecular simulation, protein ligand docking, and lead optimization. Leaders should select use cases that balance feasibility and measurable return of investments, ROI. Development, like develop a 3 to 5 year roadmap. Like this roadmap should set milestones aligned with hardware progress. For example, early adoption of hybrid quantum classical workflows now, moving forward fault tolerant applications as hardware scales. Obviously, when the hardware gets more and more, there will be more fault tolerant applications. And building strategic partnerships. Partnering with quantum hardware providers, AI firms, and academic labs is so essential. No single company can do this alone. Partnerships accelerate access talent, tools, and evolving capabilities. And we need to invest in talent and training. The shortage of quantum literate professionals is real. Pharma companies should sponsor internal training programs, hire quantum chemists and data science scientists as well, and create interdisciplinary teams bringing IT, AI, and the biology together. So, which means like we are bringing two industries: the IT industry, then the pharmaceutical industry, and foster a culture of experimentation. Adoption will require shifting mindsets. Leaders should encourage pilot projects, POCs, create like safe to fail environments for experiment. It's okay to fail. There's nothing wrong to fail. So the leaders should create those kind of environments and integrate quantum R&D into innovation budgets. So and they need to establish metrics for success. Metrics might include like improved prediction accuracy, reduced candidate screening costs, shortened discovery cycles, or partnerships formed. Clear metrics turn quantum from a futuristic idea into a business aligned initiative. So by following these recommendations, like companies will not only prepare for the next wave of hardware capabilities but also secure first mover advantage in precision drug discovery. The organizations that act now will set the competitive standards for the next decade and for the future companies. And and quantum computing in drug discovery is not just about marginal improvements. It represents fundamental reimagining of how we discover, optimize, and deliver therapies. The science is already showing results. Hybrid quantum classical models are reducing costs and improving accuracy. Industry partnerships are accelerating adoption. Hardware roadmaps point to pharmaceutically relevant systems within 3 to 5 years. But here's the reality: companies that wait till the quantum computers comes into the market, they'll be left behind. The cost of inaction is greater than the risk of early adoption, as you know that. While late movers are still evaluating, early adopters will already be building quantum ready pipelines, forming partnership with different countries, different companies, and shaping the industry standards as well. And they would be ahead with the technology and everything. And this is not a technology like where you can afford to ignore until it is mature. By then the competitive advantage will be gone. The leaders who begin today, experimenting, training, integrating, will define the pharmaceutical landscape of the next decade or next future. So the message is clear: the time to act is not tomorrow or not 5 years from now, but today, now. So, yep, yep, that's how the things are. And thank you all for your attention. Quantum AI is not science fiction, it is a frontier that is rapidly becoming practical reality. It offers faster discovery, lower costs, and more importantly, therapies designed for individual personalized therapies. This is the future of the medicine and is arriving faster than the most people realize. I look forward for the discussion and the Q&A.
Okay, thank you for sharing your insights with us. We have few questions submitted to us via YouTube. I've shared them in chat. As these people are not present here, we would just like to cover these questions over here itself.
Okay, so I see there are oh, there are 10 questions, right? Are these the questions?
Yeah, I have just arranged all together.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let us take a look one by one. Um, you mentioned integrating quantum modules with existing hybrid pipelines as a key challenge. Could you elaborate on what hybrid workflow might look like for a mid-size pharma? That's actually a good question. So when we when we as a leader, like superposition, like it actually allows a quantum computing to represent multiple molecular states, as I mentioned, simultaneously instead of evaluating one after the another. In drug discoveries, like this helps a lot. And also, everything like this particular, like, the key thing to remember is that quantum computing in drug discovery is still in the early but rapidly accelerating phase. Right now we are seeing like proof of concept results with small molecules and hybrid quantum classical methods within maybe next 3 to 5 years. As hardware improves beyond 100 stable qubits, those applications will scale to pharmaceutically relevant problems, I feel. So I feel like I hope that answered your question. So hybrid, could you please elaborate on what hybrid workflow look like? Like a hybrid workflow slots a quantum step into existing discovery pipeline without rewriting everything else. Preparation, like as I said, and also the VQ and QAOE, classical optimizer loop, downstream ML and ranking, and ops, obviously. And what's the next question? Given the intense competition for quantum computing talent, what specific roles or skill sets should be pharmaceutical company prioritize in hiring for a right now to build quantum ready team? Quantum ready team, like what skill sets should the pharmaceutical company prioritize? So it's still evolving. Like they need to, like, what's most exciting is that real value, like the people who can compute it faster and do the error correction, or maybe computational computational chemistry. Like for example, if you take bridges, right, we are bridging up pharma and the IT industry. So when we prioritize these two these two industries, so obviously from pharmaceutical side we need a quantum chemist or a computational quantum chemist, and quantum algorithms engineer as well, and also ML engineer, obviously, and data scientists and platform engineer for APIs and security, and also developing the pipelines, and product tech lead for computational R&D. So one translator kind who speaks chemistry, ML, and platform is often the force multiplier here. So the ROI for early stage quantum investment was listed as a hurdle beyond cost reduction. What other key performance KPIs or were used to build a business case for this technology? So use science plus throughput metrics that ladder to return of investment. Enrichment factor, for example, and hit rate uplift is what in virtual screening. Prediction error, obviously, and binding affinity or admit endpoints. Cycle time from idea decision to time to kill weak leads. So what all it appear, and late stage failure proxy. So earlier attrition for poor candidates, and chemical space coverage and diversity as well, and regulatory readiness signals, model traceability, validation packages, and much more, and partnerships, obviously. These make like value more measurable before the P&L like fully reflects it. So the roadmap anticipates 100 plus cubic systems in 3 to 5 years. What are the minimum hardware specifications needed to move beyond toy problems and start generating actionable insights? So depending on the mapping, but like when we go for the qubit count, 100 to 300 high fidelity physical qubits for small active space VQE or mid scale QAOE docking graphs. And the gate fidelity 1 cubic is like greater than or equal to 99%, and 2 cubic is 99.5%, ideally 99.9%. and and we need to target for cohorts and the depth that support hundreds of 2 cubic layers with error mitigation, stable calibration over the job time, and throughput as well. Low Q latency, batched parameter shift evaluation for hybrid loops, and yeah, basically hybrid plus error mitigation lets us extract actionable significance before full error corrected qubits arrive. For a company which just starting its quantum journey, which phase of the drug discovery pipeline, target identification, lead optimization, or clinical trial design offer the most tangible quick win to demonstrate the value? So lead optimization and docking or scoring are the quick wins. Those are the quickest wins. Quantum derived energies interactions, fingerprints can boost ranking accuracy immediately. Target identification is impactful, but maybe a longer horizon. Clinical trial design is promising for QAOA type optimization, but evidence is early. That's what I feel. Quantum algorithms require specific data inputs. How much of the bottleneck is the need to clean, standardize, and prepare classical biological data like genomic data sets for use in these quantum models? Mm, yes, and I think it's worth investing in early for the standards like SDF for ligands, PDB for proteins, and VCF for genomics. And coming to the normalization, protonation states, tautomers, charge, Biot noise, and batch effects. And metadata provenance, units, temperature, solvent, context, feature store for reuse, clear inputs, like better graphs, and results in the more stable quantum results, I feel. So you showed a slide on strategic from your research. Okay, sorry, I missed one. For a company that decides to take a wait and see approach until the technology matures further, what is the biggest risk they run? Is it falling behind in expertise, missing partnership opportunities, or something else? So, capability depth, like we are risking the talent gap and lost seat at the standard stable becoming a standard staker, and partnership missed windows. Priority access and joint data rights are so early, and no canonical data sets when hardware influx. By the time hardware matured, the leaders already have pipelines, playbooks, and the people. So that's the wait and see, like the biggest risk in the wait and see approach. You should you showed a slide on strategic quantum partnership from your research. What is a more effective model? Partnering directly with quantum hardware provider like IBM, Microsoft, or with a specialized quantum software startup? So I would like we that's a good question. Like we can use a dual track approach, life sciences focused strategy, software startup, faster domain fit, turnkey integrations, problem framing that matches medical chemistry, and cloud and hardware providers. Those are IBM, Azure, AWS. Those are already proven technologies, have robust technologies, and have roadmap access, broad backend options, and governance. So I would like to I would start with a software partner for velocity plus a cloud hardware alliance for portability, and avoid single vendor lock-in. Like single vendor, we never know how it goes. So if a drug discovery if a drug discovered or optimized using a quantum algorithm, how might that impact the regulatory approach? Do you foresee agencies like the FDA needing new frameworks to validate this novel discovery? Okay. Regulators care about the evidence, traceability, and the validations, and not the buzzword. The best practice is documented methodology, inputs, circuits, backends, and seeds, and bringing studies like show how quantum guided decisions correlate with orthogonal essays, like how existing models, and model governance too. So align to audit trials, versioning, change control. We need to show all that when we for better evidence and traceability and explanation. Chemically interpretable outputs, energies, processor contracts, not just black box scores. Discovery method is not equal to approval. Quality of preclinical, clinical evidence is what carries submissions. So, how do you address the cultural resistance within traditional R&D teams who may be skeptical of results from a black box quantum, so they don't fully understand? So, I would win trust with transparency and side by side proof, benchmarking run quantum and classical in parallel and publish deltas, interpretability, deliver energies, contact maps, poses, and not just scores, pilot with guardrails, small scope studies tied to scientist pain points and internal champion and training, brown bags, rotations, shared repos, and governance, SOPs, code review, and SL level acceptance criteria. Make it a tool for scientists, not a like replacement for them. So obviously we can't replace scientists. Yeah. Any more questions, Neela?
So, could you please cover the photo? Oh, it's just like from students.
Sorry.
Would you please answer these four questions and try to understand it from the level of students that like these students
Oh,
above?
okay, 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 okay. So let's go with, for someone without a PhD in quantum physics, what is a realistic roadmap to enter this field? Are there specific software engineering or data science roles that support these teams? You don't need a PhD in quantum physics to contribute. A realistic entry part is through software engineering and data science roles that support quantum teams. Most quantum workflows run in Python SDKs. I think most of you are aware. So skills in Python, machine learning, and cloud integration are highly valuable for everyone. And maybe roles to look in there are roles like quantum software engineer and data engineer who does curating molecular biological data sets or pipelines, and machine learning engineer and DevOps or cloud engineer. So the roadmap is like get comfortable with the SDKs, understand the basic quantum principles, and position yourself as the bridge between the classic software engineering and the quantum research. That's where the demand is growing fast. So, given that fault tolerant quantum computers are still years away, what are the most valuable and practical skills to learn today to be prepared for the quantum computing era in pharma? So, while we wait for the fault tolerant systems, the most valuable skills are hybrid algorithm design. As I said, VQE, QAOE, QML, knowing how to pair quantum circuits with classical optimizers, optim and error mitigation techniques, practical tricks to stabilize noisy devices, and computational chemistry basics. So you know how pharma datasets are structured, and cloud native development, AWS bracket, Azure Quantum, IBM Quantum, all deliver quantum through cloud APIs, and also AML integration because near term value comes from combining quantum features with ML models. These are practical deployable skills that pharma needs today, not just in 10 years, maybe then it needs today. And how do you see collaboration working between a traditional software engineer and quantum algorithm researcher on an actual project? What does that workflow look like? Hmm. Like think of it as a pairing two complementary mindsets. The quantum researcher defines Hamilton, like chooses the active space and designs the algorithm. The software engineer ensures it runs at a scale, containerizing code, writing CI/CD pipelines, integrating quantum SDKs with ML libraries, and connecting outputs to downstream pharma systems. A typical workflow, researcher like if you take a typical workflow, a researcher drafts a circuit in Qiskit, engineer wraps it in Python services with logging, API, and cloud deployment. Data scientist integrates the quantum derived descriptors into a ML pipeline, and the whole loop is version controlled, containerized, and benchmarked. So collaboration looks like a modern ML team. Researchers prototype, engineers productionize, and the data scientists operationalize. So that's how it is. So beyond the well-known examples of Google and IBM, what are the some other companies or research labs where this work is being done that students should be aware of for opportunities? So several companies and labs are shaping the field. Like for example, Xanadu Canada, there is a Canadian-based company. It's leading photonic quantum hardware and penny lane SDK. And in US, it's IonQ, trapped ion qubits with high fidelity, accessible via cloud. And mm, and there are so many. Like there's something called Pascal in France. Those are neutral atom quantum systems with strong European pharma ties, and there are many software startups focusing on chemistry, ML, and workflow integration. So what advice would you give to future change makers from your domain expertise and apart from just for life? So that's a powerful, like, that's so from my domain experience, take quantum plus AI and ML, be a bridge builder. Don't worry if you are not a physicist or a biologist. The biggest breakthroughs come from people who connect domains, software engineers who understand biology, or data scientists who can talk to chemists. Stay cloud native. The old databases servers are done. Everything is cloud. The future of quantum and AI will be delivered through APIs and cloud platforms. If you master scalable cloud based development, you will be relevant across industries. And think hybrid, like the world will not flip a switch from classical to quantum. It will be a hybrid for decades. So learn to design workflows where classical AI and computer quantum complement each other. And coming to the like mm, like I would ask every one of you to focus on clarity and not the complexity, whether it's code, research, or communication. The people who make things simple are the ones who move industries forward and play the long game. Technologies like quantum take time, careers obviously careers do too. So stay patient, keep learning, and invest in skills that compound. And like, curiosity is your biggest credential. I know degrees and titles does matter, but curiosity is what keeps you relevant when the field changes, and is always does. And be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, I mean, it's okay to fail, but the next frontier always feels confusing at first. That's the sign you're growing, not failing. So, any tips for club and its members? Run mini hackathons where teams use like that. We in our industry, in our company, we do follow. uh, Even our engineers and managers, we do run hackathons, run mini hackathons where teams use open source quantum SDKs like Quizit and Penny Lane or real drug discovery type problems. It's the fastest way to learn. Not only quantum, anything. uh, like quarterly once, if you have some time, run a 3-day hackathon within your club or anything. Just took out a, take a topic and ask them to come up with some more ideas and implement it. Either it might be working solution or a theoretical one. Maybe in the next hackathon, when we do it next time, the theoretical might go into a practical. At least like students, like you get an idea what to know. And invite diverse voices. Don't just bring quantum scientists, or invite engineers or entrepreneurs. Or this innovation happens at intersections. So document your experiments, every notebook, every results, every failure. In 3 years, the archive will be more valuable than your textbook. I would say that. And don't act local, think global. Follow global breakthroughs, but apply them in a ways that solve problems your own community faces. That's where the impact begins. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your words and the insights you shared in the session. Apart from that, or what we have asked, what would you like to share with us? Just a piece from your heart, something that you would like to share with all.
Sorry.
Apart from these questions asked, what would you like to share from your heart, or what would you like to share with the community members just from apart from this domain, just like a common theme?
Apart from this domain, um so um, so I, as you know, like I already told you, I'm a I would say technology. I would say technology at last, because technology is evolving. Like, since I come from the technology background, I like this one. But I, like, don't take, like, I would suggest you to take the complexity and the design solutions that are both like kind of scalable. Like, in my journey, like where in software engineering, AI, or now exploring quantum, I've learned that, yeah, our career is not a straight line. It's more like a series of experiments. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but each one teaches you something invaluable. Like, um, so I would say three lessons stand out of me. Like, protect your curiosity. So the world will try to box you in with job titles and expectations, but the people who change things are the ones who keep asking what if, even when the answer isn't obvious. And like, build the relationships and not just resumes. Every opportunity in my career came on not only from what I knew, but from who I collaborated with. People remember how you make them feel, and how you show up in teams, how you behave in when you're teaming up, and redefine your success. Often, at one stage, success might mean getting published. At another, it might mean building something useful for society, or mentoring the next wave of talent. Give yourselves the freedom to evolve, and maybe the most important reminder, like, be kind to yourself. Technology changes fast, but your growth, resilience, and well-being are what sustain you through the long game along this journey.
Okay, thank you so much for your motivational words and joining us. So we have wrapped it up and we are about to end the session. If you want to share something more, we are open to it. Otherwise, we can end it.
And then, like, if you have since we have half an hour more time, so if you guys have any questions, you can just ping me here. I can answer it, and otherwise I don't have much to speak.
Okay, thank you so much. We have covered all the questions we got.
Yeah. Thank you, Naila, and thank you, Uttar Pradesh BI, for giving me an opportunity to speak. Like, hopefully you have learned something from my session, and you get to know, maybe I might have inspired or even at least one of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
can leave the stage.
Thank you. Bye.